14th Nagaland Legislative Assembly 6th session laga second day Governor address laga motion of thanks de hisaluina MLA achambe mo ki konbra alak issue upor kotha kurisha. Governor address de Frontier Nagaland Territory Authority upor substantial progress banagina ase kwado sawal kurisha ro substantial progress bra ki kobole mona se itudo pujibole napare kusha. Achambe mo bra mamla upor transparency thagibole kusha. Oil exploration upor achambe mobra arup lagaishi ki Assam sarkar bra illegal immigrants kan sub border area de push kuri dishe kile oil deposits takado jani ase. Nagaland sarkar bra Assam sarkar lokot mamla sujaf kurubole kotha kura homoy Nagaland laga ekta matibi surrender nakurubole kushe. Assam sarkar bra border area de desperately development anibole koshish kuri ase koigina arup lagaishi aro rich oil deposits taka Janagarne illegal immigrants kan amikhan laga matite push kuri ase kushe. Achambe mobra claim kurishi ki amikhan laga context de disputed area belt to nai kintu Assam bra bana laga ase. Achambe mobra education sector bra ligina urban local bodies inner line permit aro reservation policies oporpi kotha kurishe.
We come back to 3, the Bara number 3. 2 rounds of discussions have already been held, one in New Delhi and one in Jumagiri. Substantial progress has been made, and we are hopeful that any remaining concerns of the ENBU will be addressed. I don't know whether it will be appropriate to go into deeper discussion on this, because I'm aware that there are lots of sensitivity involved, and therefore I don't want to expand more on this, but I really fail to understand what do we actually mean by substantial progress, because we are all a part of the government, but as far as the running of the affairs of the state is concerned, we are, of course, it's only those responsible people who are holding the office will know better, and therefore this needs more expansion of the ideas if there are any progress on this. Let me come back to para 10 of the Governor's address. It's about soil and water conservation. I raised this in the last assembly also, about the revegetation of the coal mining area. My village, Megokla, is one area where there are lots of massive coal mining is taking place, and the life of the villagers are at stake. And therefore, I would like to again reiterate that more ideas be generated how to revegetate, and if there are schemes in this regard, people have to be made aware and more investment will be made to revegetate the areas which are being already spoiled. Let me come back to para 15. Of course, we were informed that discussion on this oil exploration will take place. I will not go into further detail on this, but as far as this issue is concerned, the geology and mining, especially the oil exploration, there are lots of opinion arising out of this, and very often we keep referring that most of our oil deposits are in the disputed area belt. Well, I have stated this umpteen times that only when the government of Assam pushed all these illegal immigrants in the periphery, in the border areas, it all became disputed area belt. Otherwise, from the British time, if you go back to the 9-point agreement, all these are land only. But government of Assam pushed all these illegal immigrants in the border areas because they know the gray area, they know that there is a oil deposits. And therefore, the government of Nagaland is exploring on to reach an understanding with the government of Assam. That effort is being pursued upon. I would like to insist that not even an inch of our land be surrendered, because these are historically belonging to us. And Assam is actually desperately trying all the post-border area development in the border areas, because they know that there's a rich oil deposits, and therefore they are pushing all these illegal immigrants to occupy our land, and for which I would like to urge upon the government that we have to be careful in our approach to the disputed area belt. Actually, in our context, there is no disputed area belt. Honorable Deputy Speaker said, it is the creation of Assam. Recently also there were problem in my constituency at Yampa village, just last week. Some of our people have established petrol pump. And the CRPF, the so-called neutral force, it is a part of the 1972 interim agreement. But it is being controlled by government of Assam. The DIG of Assam controls. And these so-called neutral force are in support of the Assam settlers, the illegal settlers. And they were the one creating problems. So therefore, we also need to revisit the 1972 agreement. Last time I raised questions, but that was not entertained because it is still prejudiced. It is in the code of law. Let me come back to para number 27. It talks about the urban local bodies. Yes, we have really exhibited by increasing the women representation in the urban local bodies from 33% in theory to 37% in practical. And that's no mean achievement. I think we have really proven ourselves that given the situation, Nagas really respect our women folk, and we hold them close to our chest and also involve them in our decision-making process. Well, interacting with the 16th Finance Commission this time, when they visited sometime in the month of December, November, I forgot, but somewhere last year, I guess, I was presenting that the state of Nagaland, because Nagas did not participate in 1952-57 elections, only after the 1960 16-point statehood agreement, that also interim period for 3 years, then statehood came into being only on the 1st of December 1963. So we have missed the planning of nation planning, 2-3 stage of planning. So it is difficult for the state of Nagaland to catch up with the rest of the states in India. And the chairman of the 16th Finance Commission was commending that this 16th Finance recommendation will be more on the development of the urban areas. And since we have already held the election after 20 long years, the 16th Finance Commission target is more on the ULBs. I hope more funding will come, and we will emphasize, apart from the rural, developing the rural areas, our urban areas also need some facelifting exercise. Let me come back to para 29. This has been talked a lot about school education. I don't want to dwell further, but the recent initiative of the department, I'll not go into the transfer and posting, that has been dwelled upon, let me not repeat. The application of this SMILE, Smart Attendance Management and Informative Leaves. I think this is a very interesting and innovative idea being propounded by the department. But I'm afraid, Honorable Deputy Speaker said, that as far as Nagaland is concerned, you see, our network is such that you have all the companies here, Airtel, Aircel, BSNL, Vodafone, this Reliance, but there are places, mine is a headquarter, Pandari, but the network is so bad. Now, if you impose this SMILE app in the rural areas, what happens? Honorable Deputy Speaker said, I don't think the desired result, the target which has been intended by the department, I don't think it will yield that result. The intended result will not be achieved. And therefore, while appreciating that move, yes, of course, we cannot remain static. We have to be dynamic in all our government functionings. I understand that. But if this can be, for the time being, only implemented, focused in the urban areas and in the rural areas, we still have that Communitization Act where the school management committee is being instituted in all the villages. So if we can go back, revisit there, again the communitization, where the village councils and the school management committees are being empowered to check the attendance of the teachers. Now what happened is, why there is less enrollment? There are a lot of speakers have emphasized on that. One of the major factors which I found is there is no sufficient teachers. And when there is no sufficient teachers, the parents are afraid to send their children to the government schools. And that is one of the main reasons, let us say, one of the main reasons in reducing the number of enrollment in the government schools. Otherwise, we send all the capable teachers as far as government schools are concerned. So therefore, but one factor is that the government implemented the direct payment of the salaries. So even if the teachers don't attend to their duties, they are being paid. By the time the month comes to an end, they get the salaries. So there is no check and balance. So I would suggest that the rural area, be the village council and the local bodies may be re-empowered again by doing away with the direct payment of salaries to the teachers. I think that will strengthen. As far as the urban areas are concerned, I'm reiterating, the SMILE app can continue if it is functional and if it is possible. Let me come back to para number 32. I think we should appreciate where it is due. We must acknowledge that the Ao Baptist Church in Dimapur and Mokokchung have come forward to support more than 1,000 beneficiaries who are undergoing TB treatment. I think this is a very positive step forward by the church. The church has made a role to play in our society. We all are in one way or other a member of a church. And it is a big society, a big organization. And therefore, I think church coming forward to help this kind of thing, it is very encouraging, and we must put on record our appreciation on this. Let me come back to para 40. I'm a little upset, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir. My question got lapsed. The question was the number 3 in the first hour because of the time duration. It could not reach. I've raised a question on the ILB. On the 25th edition of the Hornbill Festival attracted 205,968 attendees, including 2,527 international tourists and 56,217 domestic tourists. I guess what the government meant by domestic tourists means citizens coming from all over India. Maybe this is minus Naga domestic Naga people. So the revenue which was shown to me, I was asking the revenue of the ILB during the closing financial year, the fiscal year 24-25. It was shown only 5,255. I'm very weak in mathematics, Honorable Deputy Speaker said. I know only how to count votes, so very difficult to calculate money. But even if you calculate this by 200 rupees, according to the government circulation, if a person is asking for ILB for 30 days, it is 200 rupees. Now, if this whole, I don't know what is the procedure, but if the domestic tourists are also if they are to be given ILB for the Hornbill Festival, we should be getting not less than 50 lakhs, even from this, during the Hornbill Festival time itself, Honorable Deputy Speaker said. So I don't know how comes it is only 36 lakhs the whole year collection. So anyway, since the question got lapsed, I don't want, I was having a lot of supplementary questions, but unfortunately our Honorable Deputy CM in charge of home was down with flu. He could not be also present. Otherwise, I have lots of supplementary questions. So I don't know how do we recollect this, and let me go a little bit on this, that the government notification on the ILP implementation in Jumagidima, Dimapur and Newland. I have a concern that we have a permanent settlers of Biharis, Marwaris, even Muslims for that matter. I think those days even one Muslim was elected as a member from Dimapur, from the general quota. like that. So we are not against any religion. We are talking about illegal immigrants. And therefore, while implementing that ILP in these 3 districts, especially Dimapur, Jammu and Kashmir, Newland, we should also give due safeguard to the original settlers of this area from long before and identify those people who have recently migrated to these plain areas. If you see the record, in 1997, when Indrajit Gupta was the Union Home Minister, he has stated in the Parliament, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, you are aware that in India there are about 10 million illegal immigrants, and out of which you will be surprised to know, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, 4 million are in Assam. Now, where these people are, where will they go? The immediate threat is Assam. But anyway, since that is not a part of the, my question got lapsed, I don't want to go into detail, but these are the concerns that I have. And therefore, we have to be smart, careful in protecting our land as well as our people. Lastly, I would like to appreciate para number 45, the government for initiating the Nagaland Super League football. I think Nagas are a football lover. This will go a long way. We have discussed a little bit during the 0R where my friend Dr. Atto has raised about the Gram Tak Siva, where unemployment rate is going up as far as our Naga youths are concerned. And to engage our Naga youths, sports is one very wonderful avenue opportunity for our youth, and this will go a long way in also keeping our youth busy, keeping them away from alcohol addiction, keeping them away from drug addiction. Not the last but not the least, para number 47, I'll conclude, one of the speakers. My friend Joanga has raised about the reservation. I have raised this question in the last assembly. No action taken report has been seen so far. I don't know how the government is acting upon on this, but as far as the reservation quota is concerned, it is time that government should come up with a policy which will benefit all sections, all strata of the Naga society, not only a few tribes or a few sections of our areas, our land. And therefore, I would like to pitch about, I would like to insist that that has to be taken up seriously. Thank you for the time given.
Ready to launch your dream career? At Eagle Crest Training Academy and Consultancy, we offer expert training in hospitality, aviation, and cruise line. 100% job placement assistance in India and overseas, expert faculty and hands-on training, endless career opportunities worldwide. Your journey to success starts here.